This is a review of the LEGO 12-volt motor, which is set number 7865. The 7865 was released in the beginning of the Gray Era in 1980. It continued its production into the final phase of the Gray Era until its conclusion in 1993 to 1994. I believe the LEGO Group released it for two purposes. The first is to replace a broken 12-volt motor, and the second is to motorize push trains and 4.5-volt trains available at the time. It's a pretty simple set, so let's get into this review. This set doesn't contain many parts. The core of the set is the black 12-volt motor, and of course metal wheels are included. The motor in this set is always black, and there was no way to get a replacement red motor except by purchasing another red motor train set, which is one reason why red motors are expensive today. The motor I got with this set is a Type 4 motor, which can be identified by its slotted plug holes. So you see there are slots on the top. That's how you know it's a Type 4 motor. I will make a guide about the different types of motors, but for this video it's important to know that Type 4 motors were produced during the end of the 12-volt era from around 1988 to 1994. This motor's date is 43-1, which means it was produced in the 43rd week of 1991. This set also comes with some parts that can be useful for integrating the motor into a push or 4.5-volt train, or for making your own engine. It includes two steam cylinders, which are here, and these are the later variants with ridges inside. 4 connecting rods to slot into the steam cylinders. 2 black weight bricks, which are of course the earlier version. 2 2x4 black plates, which are here, and these can be attached to the end of the motor, like so, because for some trains, the wheels hit the base plates of those sets if it's not raised like that. So you can see if I take these plates off, any part that's wider than 4 studs, so if I use this brick here, it can't go down, it can't be attached fully, and it will interfere with the rotation of the axle there. Additionally, the set includes 6 rubber train rims and 4 extra ones. These rims are third-party rims since original ones are hard to find in large quantities, and personally, I'd rather not wear out original rims. As I stated earlier, the most common uses of this set are to replace a broken motor or to integrate it into a push or 4.5-volt train. Out of the 9 12-volt train sets that use motors, 6 use black motors and 3 use red motors, which is almost certainly why LEGO included a black motor in this set. You can also use this set to upgrade the pulling power of a train such as 7740 or 7755 by replacing the dummy motor in the engine with a second 12-volt motor. This can be useful for pulling extra wagons such as the 7815 and 7819 with the 7740. For integrating the 12-volt motor into a push or 4.5-volt train, some have detailed instructions on how to do this. 7715 and 7722, both released in 1985, have a section in the back of the instructions for how to add a 12-volt motor in, with 7715 replacing the dummy motor in the engine and 7722 replacing the 4.5-volt motor. Both modify the construction of the engine a little bit. It's also possible to install this 12-volt motor in sets 7710 and 7810, which are both push trains, and 7720, which is a 4.5-volt train, in a similar manner to 7715 and 7722. However, the instructions for those sets do not include step-by-step instructions like the later sets do. Some elements for this set, such as the weights and connecting rods, are used in the step-by-step instructions for 7715 and 7722. The box of the set actually came in 2 variants. The earlier variant is a smaller box, and like other sets released in 1980, includes a styrofoam inner tray. This set was one of the sets to get a box redesign in 1989, so the second variant is larger, and instead of a styrofoam tray, has a plastic inner tray with a different layout. My box is the earlier variant. Like most other supplemental sets, all languages for the countries in the set are included in the gray panel to the right. Right over here. So to my knowledge, there's only one language variant for each box. There's one language version for each box variant. The styrofoam inner tray has a large compartment on the left for the 12-volt motor, and 2 smaller ones on the right for the weight bricks and the other parts. One interesting thing about this set I own is that the motor cannot be original to this set. I know this because although it has the earlier version of the box, which stopped production in 1989, this motor was produced in late 1991. Another fact about this set is that when I bought it, it had a sealed bag which I opened. The motor, weights, and rims were used, but everything else was still sealed in the original poly bag. Let's look at the instructions. Unlike the box, to my knowledge, there are three language variants for the instructions, and like other sets released in 1980 that did have the languages, the three variants are German, French, and Dutch, English, Italian, French, and the rare Danish, Swedish, and Finnish variant. Mine are the more common German, French, and Dutch type. The instructions are fold out instead of being a booklet. In the instructions, there are details about how to integrate the set into a 7, 8, 10, and some layout ideas. So on this side, there's details about integrating into the 7, 8, 10, and a little bit of details about the weight elements at the bottom. On the other side, there are some layout ideas, amounts of each set that you'll need to make those, and some information on short circuiting, and then some motor tips at the bottom. Pricing for this set is fairly consistent, almost always being between $70 and $100 for a complete set, depending on condition and if you want the box. The box for this set isn't too expensive. Most listings for an empty box are around $15, which is why the price is pretty stable. Sealed sets are typically between $250 and $300 because it does include a motor, and new motors are very rare. I paid about $95 for this copy. Overall, this is a great set when paired with a push-along or 4.5 volt train, so you can upgrade it to 12 volt. It's also useful if you want to make your own engine, which I might do at some point. I bought this because I wanted a spare motor in case any of mine break, and I sometimes use it to build a shunter, which I explained about in my behind the scenes of Layout 4 video. Check that out if you're interested. I think the 7865 is a necessary part of any 12 volt collection because a spare motor is never a bad thing, and you may need it at some point. This concludes my review of the 7865. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in my next video.
Won't you take me home?